Good morning, students. You are all welcome to this class. After completion of our previous topic, that is the tissue, we are now in the new topic, that is the improvement in food resources. This is the name of our topic, improvement in food resources. Chapter number 15 from your textbook. What are the objectives of this topic? Why should we learn this topic? That means, number one, for sustainable agriculture and improvement in crop yields. Number two, improvement in crop yields, that is the production, crop production, crop variety improvement, crop production management, crop protection management. Animal husbandry is also included, under which there are several fields, like the cattle farming is a field in this animal husbandry, poultry farming is another field, fisheries or the pisciculture or the fish production is another field, and here the beekeeping or the apiculture is the another field. So these are the some fields of the which are coming under the animal husbandry. So here from this new chapter, a lot of things for discussion, a variety of things that must be focused, and how that will be completed after addressing all this. That's why I have written here the entire topic or the chapter may be finished when we shall finish all these points. Now come to this sustainable agriculture. Just I would like to introduce each and every objective of this chapter. As I have written here, learning objectives. That's why I have written here learning objectives. What is the learning objective? Sustainable agriculture. What is the meaning of sustainable agriculture? As you well know, that due to intensive agriculture in our country and in the other country also, where there is a greater demand of the food due to the population. As you well know that our population is more than 1 billion, and that population and their food requirement is as large, as you well know, and that requirement is fulfilled with intensive farming or the agriculture field. That means due to that unscientific way or in an unwise manner, when there is some work will be done that will harmful to our environment. Due to the requirement of the food products, we have a less land. Our agriculture land is less than that we require. Similarly, our forest is also less than what we require according to our country, and that is why we may use some chemicals, fertilizers and the other methodology which can enhance and which can meet the demand in a very haphazard manner. That haphazard manner means that an unwisely manner, that unscientifically manner, that will lead to the destruction of our natural resources. That's why the sustainable agriculture is required. That's why sustainable agriculture is required. Here, crop variety improvement, how we would develop, how we will get better quantitatively and qualitatively, both we require. And that's why how it will be possible, how can we improve in the crop production, in the crop yield. It is the second part, important part. In this part we see the different types of plants, how they will grow, how in what type of climatic condition, what are the weather in which they can grow, what are the requirements, how much they require sunlight, that is the photo periods, etc., etc. There are many soil, the nature of texture and nature of the soil, the chemical properties of the soil, the other climatic conditions, the weather, all will, and what are the different types of, depending upon the season, what are the different types of crops, like the kharif crops, like the rabi crops, and what are the different types of grains that will yield, that will give us the cereals, that will give us the pulses, that will give us the oils, that will gives us the spices, that will give us the fruits, vegetables, etc., etc., etc. Many more things we can discuss. Now the important part of this, that how can we improve in our food resources, that will come in the third point, that is the crop variety improvement. Variety is very important. There are several strains or varieties of plants. Whether it is the season of mango. There are a variety of mangoes in the market. We are going to purchase mango. You are now selecting, now you are choosing which type of mango you require. And this is the variety. A species is the same, similar, but the varieties are different. Maybe the species is different, that is another thing. But here in the same species of the organism, you may find a lot of varieties. Understand? So depending upon that variety, how that variety will helpful for the improvement in resources of our food production. Whether the variety is able to resist the diseases, whether the variety is able to resist the other abiotic and biotic factors, whether the variety is such type of variety that will be easily acclimatized. That means if we can grow here at Bihar, we can also grow that type of variety in any other state. Acclimatization. So these are some factors. Depending upon that, we may see that there are intervarietal, there are intergeneric, interspecific. We can look them in detail when we will come to this point. Just I am introducing to you all this here. And the crop production management. Production, that is the time from the time of sowing to harvesting. Our field, the crops which are present in our field require nutrition, that is the nutrient management. How they can grow, how can they grow in a well manner, how can they develop profusely, what are the different factors which are responsible for their better growth and development, whether they are getting proper amount of the water and minerals, and yes and no. If they are not getting, how can we alternatively provide them? They also are living, they can photosynthesize, they give us the food materials, we can also give them the food for their production. So that is the production, crop production management. After that, crop protection. How can we manage to protect them from the pathogens, from the different types of diseases, from the nematodes, from the other, just you have learned in the recent news that टिड्डियों का आक्रमण खड़ी फसलों पे हो रहा है, जिससे फसलें तबाह हो जा रही हैं, जिससे फसलें बर्बाद हो जा रही हैं. तो किस तरह से उसको प्रोटेक्ट किया जाएगा? हाउ वी विल प्रोटेक्ट देम? We will learn more and more in this part. And animal husbandry, it is another part. And in today's agriculture are the जिसे हम लोग खेती कहते हैं, क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन, अनाज उपाने का जो जगह है उस जगह को और भी दूसरी चीज़ों से जोड़ा जा रहा है. That is also associated with the other fields. That will also provide, we will know that there are two important sources of our food materials. What are the two important sources? The plant sources and the animal sources. Whenever, whatever may be the sources of the plant, that is not only the sources, that is not only the sufficient to fulfill the demand of the entire world, entire populations of the world. They can also, there some may like to depend on the sources of the animals for their food. They cannot take in much amount of the plants. They are getting their food materials with the sources of the animals. That's why they also require our focus, and that also come under the sustainable agriculture. Their production, like the cattle farming, livestock, and the poultry farming, the fish production, and the beekeeping, etc. So this is the some objectives of our lesson that we will learn in this lesson. Now we will start our lesson. Now look here, in the introductory part of the chapter, we would like to know about something about these things, like the types of food. Number 2, importance of food, like the sources. As you well know, the sources, agriculture and animal husbandry, just we have discussed that one. Revolution in food production, like the green, white, silver, blue. Here the silver green revolution means food production, revolution in food production. That means we have competent enough to fulfill the demand of our population, and that is the white milk production revolution. And similarly here silver, that is the egg production, improvement in egg production, efficiency in egg production, and the blue, that is the efficiency in the fish production. So these are the some revolutions in the agricultural and animal husbandry field that connected with our improvement in food resources, that can enhance the ability of the production of the food and other things which are related with our food. So here the types of food. You well know, students, may you are familiar with some important things regarding the food. That means what is food? Food is such type of nutrient which can provide us energy and which can give us the raw materials, the body building materials for the growth, development, repairing of the wearing and tearing of the tissues and cells. And the third important part in this regard is the protection from the pathogens, from the different type of diseases. That the food also can enhance our immunity ability, and that will helpful in this regard. So this is the some importance of food. But before that, there is a types of food. How these three aspects of the food, just we have told here, like the types of food. We can here see the main types of food which we require. Carbohydrates. The second one is protein. Fats and oils. The minerals. The vitamins. So these are the nutrients, are the food. Actually, nutrients comprises all the inorganic and organic materials that can be taken by the organisms by the organisms and which are utilized in the body for the different purposes. So that we will discuss here. So all the nutrients, that nutrients may be from the carbohydrate to the vitamins and also water, all are nutrient, but all nutrients are not food, but all foods are nutrient, as because among these nutrients this one the main food particles are considered this one, carbohydrate, proteins. So you don't go in this controversy, you may consider it the nutrient all and may you consider it the food also. So carbohydrate give us energy, the main energy provider in the body of the organism is the carbohydrate. The second important part will give us the body building materials, and the third one is the fats and oils that will also gives the energy and also gives some certain things which can may smooth the esophagus, that can make the easy passage of the food materials and many more things. You can also get energy from this also. And what are the importance of the minerals and vitamins? They can also in some way, somewhat extent, some extent would provide energy also, but they mainly specialize for the giving the protection to the body. So here there is a three main objective of all these nutrients. Just in a brief way I would like to share those objectives. Like number one, energy. Number two, body building materials that can repair, that can make new cells, and that many more functions. And third one, protection. That means our body our body or the body of the other organism require continuous supply of energy, essential, as because to fulfill their demands of the protoplasmic activities, demand of the cell, demand of the system, demand of the organ, and demand of the entire organisms, entire body. That means the life activities. Without energy, without the supplying of energy, not possible. There are several types of life activities. That is known as the life processes. You cannot imagine any life process or any activity related with your life or with the life of the other organism possible without getting energy. And that is why it is the most essential, and that is the importance of the food particles. And the second important part is that there is a continuous process of cell division that will lead to the growth, and that growth will after growth the part will be matured, and that matured part now became a permanent part after differentiation. That is the development. So that growth and development requires materials, and that materials will be provided by the food, and ultimately the protections from the diseases, protections from the pathogens, protections from the other things. All this is the importance of the food particles. After the completion of this part, we Now have some discussion like agriculture. The common practice and the sustainable agriculture. Today we will discuss with this the older aspect and with the newer technology that will helpful to compete the demand of the food particles. Other resources will be enhanced. In the discussion you have seen that there are revolutions. That revolutions led to higher production in crop, in the field of egg, fish, and also oil, and from the pulses production, and but that also harmful due to that high demand of the population. The revolutions in food productions utilized natural resources more extensively, causing them great damage. That means our soil, the quality of soil, the quality of air, that will be damaged. There is a scarcity of water, etc., etc. Thus, the concept of sustainable agriculture was developed. यहीं से ये डेवलप करता है ये नया जो कंसेप्ट है सस्टेनेबल एग्रीकल्चर का. But it is not an easy task for our poor farmers. We will look it now. First you may see the definition of this sustainable management of agriculture. Sustainable agriculture can be defined as the successful management of resources for agriculture to satisfy the changing human needs, while maintaining or enhancing the quality of environment and conserving the natural resources. This is the sustainable agriculture. And in this sustainable agriculture, now the agriculturists, the plant breeders, and the other workers which are related with the agriculture, which are related with the animal husbandry, are working a lot, and they're working in the different areas like higher yield. How it is possible? Higher yield, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा पर एकड़ प्रोडक्शन मिले, चाहे वो किसी भी चीज़ का हो, चाहे वो कोई सीरियल्स का हो लाइक द पैडी, वीट, है ना, चाहे वो पल्स का हो, चाहे वो सोयाबीन का हो, या सब्जियों का हो, या फलों का, जो भी हो, हायर यील्ड्स सबसे पहला उद्देश्य है हायर यील्ड्स. दूसरा, हायर यील्ड के साथ साथ इसमें दो बातें हैं. एक तो क्वालिटी भी बेटर होना चाहिए, और हायर यील्ड तो आप समझ ही रहे हैं क्वांटिटी. अगर आप हायर यील्ड के चक्कर में अगर क्वालिटी समाप्त हो गया, ख़त्म हो गया, तो दैट इज़ ऑल्सो नॉट गुड, not fair. That is why there are higher yield. After higher that means that when we should talking about the higher yields, at that time we have some important aspect in selection of the seeds. How the selection, it is very important part, which varieties of seeds selected for a particular species. And that will that also may able to resist. Just in the earlier in the beginning of this lesson I have told you that will be the resistance to the disease, that will be the better quality, that will be the high productivity, etc., etc., etc. That will be also maybe tolerable with the ever change environmental situation, circumstances. This is the fact. Now, if there is a deficiency in the soil, how the quality of the soil? If there is a deficiency of water, how the water will be assessed to our agricultural field? How the minerals will be assessed to our soil? That means additionally we should provide minerals in the form of fertilizers, NPK, nitrogenous, phosphorus and potassium type of fertilizers that can be provided. Manure will be prepared and that will be applied. Understand? So this is the some special things which required during the growing period of the plant. But before, when we have selected, at the selection time, we must see that what are the hybrid varieties available that can give a better quality, that can give a better production, a good production, that can fulfill the demand of the population. In our country, 1/4 billion tons of grains require each and every year. We are a most populous country. In our country, more than 1 billion people present. And you have just seen that since April there is a free supply of the essential materials like the wheat or the rice to the poor people in this lockdown period, in this COVID and coronavirus period. And that will be provided. Where from that come? कहाँ से वो आएगा, आता है? That will come from our laborious farmers. उन लोगों ने ही तो प्रोडक्शन किया है उसको, वो हमारे यहाँ बफर स्टॉक में है, और वहाँ से उसको सप्लाई हो रहा, गवर्नमेंट उसको लेकर के गरीबों को दे रही है। तो ये इतने सारा, इसके मतलब ये कि जो पैसे से खरीदने के अलावा फ्री में बांटा जा रहा है, हमारे पास उसका है। मगर ये कैसे हुआ पॉसिबल? जब हमने कुछ अडॉप्ट किए, वेरियस स्टेप्स वी हैव अडॉप्टेड. In that various steps, we have seen here that we can select a hybrid seed that can resist disease resistance, that can give us higher yield and the good quality, along with the good quality also. The duration of the crops may be shorter one. The maturity period will be shorter, and thereafter we would apply some other devices, some other methodology in our cropping, in our cultivable field, like the mixed cropping, like the intercropping, like the crop rotation. The field should be well irrigated, and that is only possible to provide our field in a better way the water supply. And after all these things, we may utilize different natural processes also, like biofertilizers, like the biofarming. But all these may impact on our poor farmer. How? As because all these new technology, new devices, and the new varieties, new hybrid varieties which are coming in the market, which are available in the market. Maybe it is the seed, maybe it is the fertilizer, and maybe it is the other artificial hormones, etc. All are this costly, and it is only available in the market when we will pay money for that. And when the question is here arising for the money, that is the economical condition of the farmer. They are the most of the farmers which in our country, most of the people and their life depends on the agriculture. But all are not rich persons. All have not so much money that will fulfill all the different aspects of the sustainable agriculture. That is why we require low cost, low input, and high output. And such type of things is only possible when we see the different aspect of the improvement in food resources. That is the main part of our lesson. Up to this part we have only seen we have only seen the backgrounds, the introduction. Now we will look about the parts which are essential and that must be focused separately one by one. This particular topic, that is the improvement in food resources, mainly surrounds these three different aspects which are essential in improvement in food resources or improvement in crop yield. Earlier also I have told you that is the crop variety improvement, crop production improvement and protection management. All these three are essential. The first one is but before that we once again would like to give you an idea of before this there are one or two paragraphs in your textbook which are related with the two different facts. The number one fact is that the different types of crop, the different types of plants require the different types of soil and the different climatic condition and the weather. Understand? And the photo periods, that means the duration of the sunlight. You will know that photosynthesis is a process by which the green plants can manufacture their own food, and that manufacture or the photosynthesis process, production of food, photosynthesis process require carbon dioxide, require water, require sunlight, and the chlorophyll which are present in their chlorophyll molecules which are already present in their body, in their cell. So all these requirements must fulfill. Thereafter we expecting from a plant that can grow in a better way. That's why we are regularly watering our plants. We are caring and nurturing our plants. Why? We also must be careful in regard to that our plants getting sunlight or not getting sunlight. There are some plants which require longer day period plant. That means they require longer periods in the sun, and some plants which require a shorter period in the sun. That is why the photo period, that is known as the photo periods. So that photo periods, all these minerals and the different climatic conditions and the weather, all these lead to that the plants will be grown according to the weather conditions and all other different factors lead to divide the important plants which are included under the cereals like the wheat, paddy, maize and pulses, all types of pulses, gram, and oil seeds which provide us the oils and spices, vegetables, etc., etc. All are these will be sown or maybe cultivated in the two particular season wise. It can be categorized into two different types like the kharif and the rabi crops. Kharif crops and the rabi crops. Kharif crops it mainly in the rainy season and rabi crops mainly in the winter season. You may get in detail in your book, you may study that is very carefully from your textbook. And now from this, the main part of our crop variety improvement. How can we, the first part is the selection of seed. Once again I am repeating here, the crop variety improvement means selection of seed, and that will be done by the two different methodology. The first one is the hybridization. Hybridization is again of the three different types. The number one, intervarietal, when the cross or hybridization between the two different variety of the same species. And interspecific, the second important type, that means hybridization between the species, two species of the same genus, and the intergeneric between the two different genus genera. So this is the three different types, the three different methods, and the fourth method is the genetic manipulation. That means a good quality of genes or DNA to be extracted from other species and introduced into the new species. That DNA, that gene, that is the desirable quality. जो जैसा हमको चाहिए कि हमें ये सब्ज़ी है तो इसमें इस तरह का हमें टेस्ट है, तो इस टेस्ट के लिए जो ख़ास जीन है, अब आम है तो उसका जो है जूसी होना चाहिए, तो इसमें जो जूसी ज़्यादा होगा, उसके पल्प अच्छे रहेंगे, उसमें मिठास जो है, उसमें स्वीटनेस ज़्यादा रहेगा, तो ये स्वीटनेस एक अलग उसका ट्रेट है, एक अलग कैरेक्टर है, उसके लिए एक अलग जीन है, उसके लिए अलग डीएनए है जो उसको कंट्रोल कर रहा है. तो ये द कंट्रोलिंग फैक्टर्स, that is the DNA or the gene that can be extracted from the other species and it will be introduced to the new species for the this is known as the genetic manipulation, GM. So the first one is hybridization and the second one is genetic manipulation. By this method we can adopt all in this method and can get a better result that can improve the variety of the crop, and the production will be improved. How it will be improved and what are the different aspects in the protection management, that will be here. One part is also one more part that will be discussed in the next class when we meet together.